stretched the range of the electric guitar with a roaring riff that still reverberates to this day. His influence resounds in the playing of every guitarist schooled in his licks, and many of his leading disciples have paid tribute to Jimi Hendrix, either by covering his songs or imitating his style. Still, his ventures into uncharted sonic territory remain groundbreaking. With an outrageous personal style, Hendrix is revered as the most important instrumentalist in rock history.
He wasn't just a blues guitarist, just a rock guitarist, just a jazz guitarist. He could play all those styles, and then he found a style that assimilated all of them.
He differed from the top acts at that time. And I mean, his sound was so different than the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. They didn't really care where his music was going chart-wise. It was more trying to reach people's souls and give them some sort of direction. But where did his management want to take him? Where did he creatively want to go? That was all up in the air.
If you want to use the phrase, what if, Hendrix is your man, because we'll never know. He only did a handful of records the way he wanted, and then he died. But what's interesting is it keeps him forever trapped in amber. He can't grow old. He is always the innovative, young, artistically restless Jimi Hendrix.
While he is worshipped by many as the greatest guitar player, Hendrix was a wildly innovative man eager to escape the shackles of interpretation. The straight musical trends and social contradictions of his time did not stop him from becoming one of the highest-paid rock stars of the 60s. His raw talent and restless fascination with the expressive power of sound reveal a visionary man who only wanted to create. His ever-expanding musical style was rooted in soulful improvisation that stretched out in directions he never got to pursue. Despite the setbacks he encountered on his journey, his iconic imprint on popular culture stands undiminished, and his concomitant record sales continue throughout the world. With exclusive footage, live performances, and interviews from people who've met him, we revisit the iconic moments and cautionary stages of Hendrix's catapulting rise to fame. Many guitarists have imitated his technique. Few have mastered it, while none at all have matched it. His limitless influence on modern music and popular culture stands undiminished as his record sales continue throughout the world.
If you think of rock and roll is what it is, it's like a placid pool. Hendrix is like throwing a stone or a brick into that pool. Splash, and the waves just keep on rolling out.
He was a writer, no question about it. He wrote, but as he played, he was writing. It all came from that head.
And he was the kind of musician that carried his guitar around with him like a third arm. He hardly ever didn't have his guitar with him. He would have slept with it if he could.
You can almost say there's before Hendrix and after Hendrix in rock and roll. Certainly, before Hendrix, no one took lengthy guitar solos. After Hendrix, there was a period of a good 10 years where lengthy guitar solo and a display of raw virtuosity was considered great. And also Hendrix gave birth to jazz rock, because Hendrix's playing was so out there, was getting so and so far removed from just 4/4 rock and roll with 3 chords, that you'd never have had Larry Coryell's 11th House and the Mahavishnu Orchestra and all these crazy out there bands without Hendrix laying the groundwork before. There was no interbreeding of jazz and rock on such a regular basis, particularly by an electric guitarist before Hendrix.
In his short career, Hendrix revolutionized most elements of guitar playing in his quest to expand the limits of rock and express his unique sonic vision. From feedback to reverb to scratching his pick across the strings and using the wah-wah pedal, he used and reinvented the sounds of the guitar in every possible way. His irrepressible genius as an instrumentalist radically redefined the expressive potential and sonic palette of the electric guitar, composing repertoires of songs from hard rockers to mellow ballads. Hendrix changed the face of rock music, becoming one of the most influential and visionary musicians of his era.
Jimmy's playing was different in mostly one respect. He was able to create on the spot.